right, all right, all right. This ain't just a show. This is a platform. Veteran built, battle tested. Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Yeah! In a room, built from boots on the ground, now we breaking the rules. 2 vets, 1 leader, painting the sound, turn scars into sermons, let them echo around. Artists with truth, musicians with fire, actors backstage chasing something higher. Entrepreneurs bleeding just to get ahead. If you fought for your dream, yeah, you are what you said. If they told you no, if you still came back, if you fell to your knees but you stayed on track, this is your voice, this is your flame. Say it loud, remember the name. No salvation, just elevation. We rise again. From the fight, to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. No damn labels, no damn cages. If you're still breathing, you belong. Turn it up, this is our song. Yeah, this is our song. Yeah. Veterans standing with ghosts in the chest. First responders running in while the world second guess. Gold star names carved deep in the soul. Your story ain't over, we carry the whole. Coaches teaching mindset, breaking the chains, turning barely alive into owning the pain. Truth over polish, scars on display. If it's real, let it bleed. That's the misfit way. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. It's Aubrey right now. We're the more than you know. Don't walk alone. Veterans press 1, bring it home. Don't trade forever for tonight. You're still needed in this fight. We are the Misfit Nation, built from scars and dedication. We rise again. From the fight, to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. Every voice is fabrication. From the silence to the scream, we're strong. Welcome home, you belong.
Evening, Misfit Nation. I know that you probably were expecting to get on here this evening and see the beautiful face of our founder, Rich LaMonica. Well, too bad. You've got me, Jake, from the Tuesday crew this evening. Rich is out doing great and wonderful things for our country. So, hey, you're going to have to deal with me this evening. A couple admin notes before we get started. I do not have a complete production board. So if you're listening from X, if you're listening on LinkedIn, if you're listening on Facebook, and ask questions, I will probably not see your questions. The only ones that I can see are the ones that's going to pop up on YouTube. So if you have questions, just cross on over to YouTube and you get those questions asked. But hey, tonight, welcome to the Misfit Nation. We have a great show for this evening. And remember, hey, this weekend we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of our great nation. However you do it, get out there and celebrate. Be proud of this country and what it's done, and be proud of what you have done for our country. So, everyone, welcome to another powerful episode of the Misfit Nation. Tonight, we have the privilege of sharing a conversation that reminds us why stories matter. This week, our nation celebrates an extraordinary milestone, 250 years since the birth of the nation, birth of the United States of America. For 2.5 centuries, America has stood as a symbol of perseverance, resilience, opportunity, and the enduring belief that tomorrow can be better than today. Our country's story has never been perfect, but it's always been one of striving, rebuilding, and moving forward. tonight's guest embodies that same spirit on a deeply personal level. Adriene Caldwell survived circumstances that no child should ever have to endure. She experienced abuse, instability, foster care, and unimaginable trauma. Yet instead of allowing those experiences to define her future, she chose to write a different ending. Her memoir, Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines. It's more than a book. It's a testament to hope, courage, and the incredible strength of the human spirit. Adrienne now dedicates her life to helping others understand that healing is possible, and no matter how broken life may seem, every person carries within them the strength to become unbroken. So tonight we're going to discuss trauma, resilience, recovery, faith, family, forgiveness, and what it truly means to reclaim your life. Whether you're here for yourself, someone you love, or simply to hear an inspiring story, we're honored that you joined us. So please help us give a warm Misfit Nation welcome to Adriene Caldwell.
Jake, thank you so much to your audience and to you for having me as a guest. I am honored, humbled, and privileged to be here. So thank you.
You are so welcome.
I just want to say the opening song, the Misfit Nation song, I love it. I want to know which band sings it, or if you created the song yourself. It rocks. So
I think our producer, with the help of probably Chat GPT and AI,
okay,
he probably wrote the words and it put it to music. Don't get me. Hey, I'm a wrench turns bolt. I'm a wrench turns bolt guy. So I know nothing. Matter of fact, I'm surprised we are even broadcasting right now, but we are.
You and me both. Technology hates me. It's a real thing. Computers, phones, things don't work around me. I say it's my energy that I give off that just stuff doesn't work. And my manager, I told her this in the beginning, and 2 years later, she walked up to me and she was like, "Yep, you're right. Stuff just breaks around you." So.
Yes, I'm the same way. Now, I have to apologize if I pronounced your name. Is it Adrienne or Adrienne or?
It's just like in the movie Rocky. Yo, Adrienne.
So, okay, got it.
Adrienne.
Got it. Well, hey, I gave probably about a nickel's worth of your biography. If you want to fill the Misfit Nation in on the other 95 cents, you start from wherever you want to start and bring us up to now. This is your story tonight. You tell it how you want to tell it.
Okay, I'm going to go a little deep, a little heavy at first. I want us to cover trigger warnings. I don't want anyone to be inadvertently triggered. So I'm going to go with my typical opening speech. I am Adriene Caldwell. I am the author of Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines. It's the story of my life from early childhood to early 20s. And during this time, I was either the witness to or the victim of the sexual assault of a young girl, the drowning death of another child, emotional and physical abuse, extreme poverty, mental illness, homelessness, horrifically abusive foster care, bulimia, drug and alcohol addiction, pedophilia, death, suicide, and even incest. So there are not too many people that I can't relate to in one way or another.
Well, that's quite a laundry list there.
It is, but I like to put it out there up front. That way our audience knows that, hey, we might get heavy. We might be discussing some hard things. And like I said, I don't want to inadvertently trigger someone. If they need to step away, take a breath, take a pause. I want them to be aware of what we could potentially be discussing.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well,
but
shoot.
my laundry list, as you called it, that's not what my story is about. That's not what defines me. My hope, my fire, my resilience, my refusal to let those things dominate and conquer me. That's my life. That's who I am. I'm the person with the indomitable spirit. And I mean, just from the list, you can tell I've had things thrown at me since I was 4 years old. And I say that I've done more than survived. I've thrived. And it's not been an easy journey or a simple journey. If there's a wrong way to do something, I do it. I do it the wrong way. And then I learn the right way to do it. I kind of have to make the mistake myself. I can't just learn from others. But I'm here now, and I have a life that I am so blessed and so fortunate and so grateful for. If you had shown the 15-year-old Adrienne the life that I have now, the 15-year-old Adrienne would have called you a liar, because there's no way that at 15 I could have believed that I would have the life that I do now. And I am blessed and grateful for it.
And I read your biography, just a little bit of it, what's on your website, and, happily married, living in Houston. You've got a 20-year-old daughter that by all accounts is just killing it in college. And
she's killing something.
well, it said there that she's a handful and you wouldn't have it any other way. And
exactly.
I think that I'm a girl dad myself, and raising strong women is that's I kind of took that to heart.
I am most proud of her, because my mother was mentally ill. She was schizophrenic. She was physically abusive. I had great instability in my life. By the time I graduated high school, I had gone to 13 different schools. So I didn't learn parenting or relationship skills or communication skills from how people normally learn those things. They learn those things through their families and through those interactions and engagements. And I didn't have those examples to learn from. So I've been winging it for 20 years, just doing the very best that I could, knowing that I wanted to give her the childhood that I didn't get. And her childhood has not been perfect. Her father, my husband, even after everything, after my early 20s, life didn't stop happening. Trauma still came. Her father, my husband, passed away when he was 38 years old. My daughter was 10 years old. I was 35. I was widowed at the age of 35. So her childhood hasn't been exactly what I wanted for her, but I am remarried. She has an incredible stepfather, and just a life that again, just so blessed and so grateful for. So.
Yes. And, it says a lot of things that, I don't know how to word, but there's guys and women out there who will gladly step into that role as a step parent. And, they know that they're not replacing anybody, but they are there for that child. Great example. Uh, my current Mrs. Holland, she was a great step parent to my two daughters, and I cannot thank her enough for that. Even though that they were poop heads at times. But,
exactly. My husband, my daughter's stepfather, he was married previously, and he had a stepdaughter in his previous marriage. And I feel lucky because he learned, he knew his stepdaughter from the time she was 6 years old. And so he had the experience with the mother-daughter disagreements and fights, and like how to intervene without being overbearing. Like I feel like we really got the benefit of his previous experience with being a stepfather to her. He would intervene when my daughter and I would have arguments, and send us to our corners. You go there, you go there. No, he's just been incredible, and yeah, it's been amazing. Now, again, my life hasn't been perfect. I'm medically disabled. I have rheumatoid arthritis, so 8 days after my official disability started, my husband passed away. Both happened within 8 days. So Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines covers my early childhood to early 20s. There may be a sequel in the works with, becoming a widow and becoming disabled. Not sure about that. I want to make sure that it stands up to Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines. So that's currently a project, and I'm working on something that doesn't really exist out there. So I was awarded the state of Texas. My mother relinquished her parental rights, and when I was 18 or 19 years old, I got a letter from the state saying, hey, if you want your CPS case file, let us know and we'll send it to you. And they sent me this giant box with these two huge stacks of paper, basically everything that had ever been written about me. And I tried to go through it. I was 20 years old at the time, and I tried to go through it, and I just couldn't. And every few years, I would get the box back out. It lived under the couch. That's where I stored it. And I would try, and it was just too overwhelming. It was too much. But what I've done is, so I've got the memoir, Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines. It's the first-hand account of multiple traumas, childhood traumas. And then I have Unbroken, the case file, where I have CPS documents and psychiatric evaluations and therapist notes and letters and photographs and caseworker documentation. And I've compiled it so that the two books can be used in classrooms for students of psychology, counseling, therapy, and even for training programs for social workers, caseworkers, future foster parents. The two books go hand in hand. One's a first-hand account. The other is the clinical perspective. What the doctors said, what the clinical aspect looked like. And for one person, for me, for my life, my experiences. So I have more than just documentation that what I wrote in my book is true. I have the clinical components, and when you mix the two, it's, from the feedback I've received so far, basically there's nothing else like this out there, and it's going to be a game changer, if you will, in those fields of study, because
Yeah,
nothing like that exists.
and thank you for doing that. I mean, that takes a little bit to, hey, I'm just gonna throw everything bad that happened in my life out there and let people learn from it.
Yeah, and
That's
there are plenty of reports where I am labeled manipulative and colluding, and yeah, it's I I don't always come off in the best light, and sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes I was making bad decisions and hurting people, and other times I just didn't know how to function or communicate or engage socially, because the background that I came from, I didn't learn those things. I mean, we were so poor that I had never eaten in a restaurant where a waiter came and took your order. The
wow.
nicest restaurant I had ever eaten in was like a cafeteria style restaurant where you just
Hmm.
go down the line. And it's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, my daughter and I keep the tradition today alive. My mother took me, I take my daughter. Um, but I didn't have a childhood where social norms and acceptable behavior was modeled. So I had to learn things that other people just assume
Yeah.
that, yeah. So
Now we have a question. Our producer, he fielded a question from over on Facebook. Uh, it's from Jelly2. What daily habits have helped you maintain your healing journey?
oh, that's a great question. I love it. Music is very important for me. I especially if I'm feeling down or upset, I listen to upbeat, happy music. And I have to be careful with music. It affects me so deeply. Like there are certain songs, Hurt, the Johnny Cash version, not the Nine Inch Nails version,
Hmm.
but Hurt by Johnny Cash. I can't listen to that song. It takes me to too dark of a place. And another thing I do is physical exercise, especially when I'm feeling triggered or overwhelmed, just to get out and physically move, which for me is challenging. You know, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm in pain every single day of my life. It's not if I'm in pain, it's how much pain am I going to endure. But getting out and moving, physically moving, helps get me going. So those are two things that I rely on.
Yes, and we deal with RA in our household. And
Really,
yes, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
it's
Uh,
it's
I
bad.
I can tell, uh, just I can usually tell when we both get up in the morning. I can kind of read and if Mrs. Holland's going to have a good day or not. And
Oh, so I take
it's
it she is the one with RA.
yeah,
Was
and
she forced to leave her career?
yes, and just she's so strong and just tries. It doesn't let her get her down. I mean, she's a trooper and just gets out there and gets after it. Uh, Sometimes pays for it later, but you know
Exactly.
that's her. She don't give up, and it's one of the things I love about her.
Yeah. For me, so I went from having a childhood where I didn't really know social norms, customs, behavior, how to act in Nordstrom or in a restaurant. But once I had my daughter, I made the decision to get my life together, and I wanted to become a person that she could look up to. So I started out in banking, but I ended up going over to the securities and investment side. I got licensed for stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I became a certified financial planner. I was a senior financial advisor with USAA. Amazing company, love them. And so much of my identity, my self-esteem came from my career, that I didn't rely on a man to take care of me, which in my early life, that's what I did. I established a professional identity and a career, and then I lost it to rheumatoid arthritis, and back to my life didn't magically get better after my early 20s. Yeah. That's why I say there may be a book too, but it was, I mean, the day that I packed away my textbooks for, my securities licenses and my CFP planning. And I mean, I had built so much of my identity and self-esteem around it that losing it felt like I was losing a part of myself, not just struggling with chronic pain and not being able to do the things that I normally did, but to lose that professionalism, to lose that part of my identity. It was like being robbed. And coming from the background that I had, like, for me to become a professional was such an achievement that, losing it was brutal.
But one thing that you did do by doing that, and I wanted to mention this, from you to your daughter, you have broken a generational curse. And I'll take, you've done that. Mom, you did your job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And, that, I love when we interview people, and that's what has happened in their life. And
thank you.
To me, that tells people no matter how bad it is, you can grab your bootstraps and you can pull yourself up, and you can become, just like your book, you can become unbroken.
Yes. My daughter actually asked me, she said, "Mom, do I have to read your book?" And I told her, no, you don't need to read it. I'm your mother. I care for you. I take care of you. I provide for you. I am teaching you how to be ready for your adult life. You don't need to know the details of my childhood and the traumas I endured. No, you don't have to read it, because that's not who I am to her. And I was very impressed that she asked that question, if it was okay to not read about it.
And when she's 40, 45, she might read it.
Maybe. I hope not. There are many things I call what I wrote radical honesty. And when I was about 14 chapters in, I went on Fiverr and hired about 15 beta readers. And several of them gave me feedback saying, Adrienne, sometimes you come across as like the bad guy, as the villain, the antagonist. You may want to rewrite it so that the reader doesn't think this these negative thoughts about you. And my response was, no, I'm writing the truth. I was the bad guy in those situations. I was making those bad decisions. I did hurt those people. And I am not going to soften the truth to make myself look better. And
Yeah.
you know, there are things I'm deeply ashamed of. I hope she never reads my book. But just because she doesn't need to. She's my daughter. She's my angel. I love her. I protect her. I would keep her in a bubble if I could, and just to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to her.
Yeah, I wish I could have done that with my kids, but my kids are kind of like me. If there's a hard way to learn something, that's how they're going to learn it.
Me too. That's me. That's me all the way. And God bless it. I was given intelligence, but zero common sense. For example, I decided when I was in college to get a Doberman, and I lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. And I decided to build an outdoor area for the dog on the patio. So I laid down a tarp and I laid down, you know, the soil, and I even planted flowers, and things were going great until it rained. And then I had all this mud coming in. And I was like 19 years old. And of course, if I had put sod down, it probably would have worked. I just missed that one key step. And I did things like that over and over throughout my life. And my family is mechanically inclined and gifted, and they can fix anything, and they can understand instruction manuals. Not me. Now, if you give me a book, I'll read it and I can recite it to you. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
But an instruction manual? In fact, one time I was building a bookshelf for my daughter, and I finished, and it kind of wobbled side to side. And my daughter looked at me and said, you know, when Dad builds things, it doesn't move. I'm like, well, sorry.
That does a lot for my self-confidence, kid.
Good. I'm glad I could help. So,
hey, we got another question here from, this here came from Twitch. Go Fast Lucy wants to know, how did your husband and daughter influence your recovery and writing process?
So my daughter wasn't really involved in the writing process. I kept that separate for reasons we previously discussed. But my husband wasn't involved in the writing itself of the book, but he was part of my support network for when I was writing the book. It took me over 5 years to write Unbroken, Life Outside the Lines. And it was, I started writing thinking that I had mostly healed and recovered, and that it wouldn't be a major undertaking. I could not have been more wrong. I am expert level at repressing memories and just pushing things down. And I like to say that I put each trauma in a metaphorical box that went on a metaphorical shelf behind a metaphorical door. And writing Unbroken forced me to open the door, take the box out, and open up and relive that trauma. And the brain doesn't differentiate between trauma that happened 25 years ago and trauma that's happening now.
Mhm.
It's just live in your brain. And for anyone who is thinking about writing their memoir, assuming they've had a difficult or a traumatic event or situation or life, I would say do not do it unless you have an incredibly strong support network. You will need your therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist, your friends, your spouse, your family. You will need a very strong support network because it's honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I mean, you saw my laundry list. I've been through a lot,
Yes.
and, and it ranks right up there.
Now, when you got your case files and
Mhm.
started going through them, and this just for my own, were there things in there that you had locked away so far that maybe you didn't remember?
Not that I didn't remember, but there were lies in there.
Okay.
The foster parent that I lived with, I call her in Unbroken, her name is the witch from hell, except with a B. So TBFH. And that's her name. I don't refer to her as anything else other than TBFH. My schizophrenic, physically abusive mother, I've never had a nightmare about her. The foster parent that I lived with for 3.5 years, I've had nightmares about her my entire adult life, including as recently as a year ago.
And
So,
do
and
you think that that's maybe because, you know, your mother didn't have a choice?
right.
This foster parent had a choice to be that way.
Let me tell you some of the things that she did to us foster children. And anyone who says that emotional / psychological abuse is not abuse, I will flat out argue uh, it is abuse.
Yes.
So, um, us foster girls were dirty, we're unclean. Animals are treated better than how we were treated. We were not allowed to sit on the furniture. We had to sit on the floor. We were not allowed to eat with the family. We had to eat separately. We had our own dishes, our own silverware, our own food. The last girl, there was only one full bathroom in the house, and the last foster girl to shower had to clean the tub with a bleach cleaner before a member of the foster family would use the shower. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And one time I was trying on a swimsuit. I was 15 years old and I came out to show TBFH, and she looked me up and down and said, "Your thighs are fat. I'm surprised you haven't started throwing up to lose weight." And that started a battle with bulimia that I'm sad to say it lasts to this very day. I still struggle with it. And one more incident to really highlight the level of damage this woman did. Uh, I had a razor and I cut my wrists. And when she looked at it, she said to me, "You didn't even do it right. You're supposed to cut along the vein, not across the
Wow.
vein." Yeah. That's what that woman said to me and did to me. And I have forgiven everyone. My mother was mentally ill. She was sick. It was not her fault. My other family members, they were doing the best they could. I even the family that was when my mother relinquished rights, my brother and I were supposed to go live with my best friend's family, and they
Hmm.
ended up keeping my brother but getting rid of me. And I've even forgiven them, but I struggle to this day with forgiving TBFH, and it doesn't hurt her. She doesn't, one way or another, it doesn't impact her life. It's me who's holding on to the pain and the rage and the hurt. It would be beneficial for me if I could resolve this. But unfortunately, I'm just not there yet. And
Well,
I try to think to myself, what happened to this woman to make her the way that she was? And I try to find some excuse for her behavior, but so far I haven't found one good enough to allow me to forgive her.
well, I hope you find that, because I can tell you from personal experience that there will be a lot of healing behind that whenever you do that. And I hope that comes from you. I really do.
Thanks.
And we got another question here from Alpha Dude Moves Houses. How do you handle difficult memories while continuing to live a joyful life? Thank you for that question, Alpha Dude Moves Houses.
It's a great question. I don't spend a lot of time dwelling on the past. I make a very concerted effort to live in the present, not the future, not dreaming about what's going to happen next year or 5 years from now, and not dwelling on what's happened in the past. It's over. Be present. And I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy the time I have with my family, my husband, my daughter, the blessings in my life, the family and friendships. So really staying grounded, staying present is how I try to remain focused and not succumb. Now, I do struggle with depression. I have since I was 15 years old. But I am on medication, and people don't always understand depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. And when I was first diagnosed with depression and placed on medication, I thought that I was defective or damaged. And it took me many years to realize that it's a medical condition. And I compare it to someone who has diabetes and needs insulin. Would anyone ever judge a diabetic for needing insulin? No, of course not. Their body doesn't produce it. They have to take it as a medication, and there's no personal judgment around it. And that's how I approach my depression. My brain, I have been traumatized so many times, repeatedly and intensely, that my brain just quit making the happy chemicals. It just stopped producing them. And I have to give my body what it doesn't make, just like a diabetic. So that's how I see it.
Well, I tell you what, you keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And now we got another one here from Jalen Divide by 3. What advice would you give someone who is afraid to tell their own story?
That's a hard question. Are they afraid because they don't want to deal with it themselves? They don't want to relive the experiences? Or are they afraid of external judgment? Those are two very different things.
Yes.
And if you're afraid because of reliving it, then I would go back to saying, make sure you have the support system in place. And if you don't have a support system, get one. You're going to need one if you're going to deal with your trauma. And the other, if you're afraid of judgment, Any person, any friend who judges you and condemns you is not a friend in the first place, and you don't need them.
Sage advice. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. And we got questions rolling in all over the place here.
All
This
right,
here,
I love it.
I do too. This here is from Uncle Rita. Uncle Rico voted for Pedro. What does boring is underrated mean, and why has ordinary peace become so meaningful to you? Thank you for that question.
So boring is underrated it's on my website, Unbroken Caldwell. And anytime you see it, my short author bio, I often include that. And I say boring is underrated because I've been through the trauma. I've been through the hell. I've been through how bad things can get, and it can always get worse. So if nothing traumatic is happening in your life, if you're bored, be grateful for that, because it could just as easily go the other way. So boring is underrated. I love boring because it means nothing bad is happening to me. So
Yes. Yeah. Boring. Yeah. Boring for me means that I don't have to chase chickens. I don't have to chase cattle, horses. Everybody stays where they're supposed to stay. And yeah, I can sit on the couch with Mrs. Holland. That's
absolutely.
which is not boring, but you know what I mean.
I do. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's stagnant or uneventful. It's just my playful way of saying, my life is good. So
Now, I got a question that I was thinking about. Many survivors carry guilt or shame that never belonged to them in the first place. And what would you say to somebody that's still living under that weight?
I still struggle with it to this day. There are issues that I cover in Unbroken where I do have survivor's guilt. And it's something that's not logical. Your logical brain tells you it's not your fault. You couldn't have stopped it. You couldn't have intervened. This was not your fault. But survivor's guilt isn't logical. It's emotional. And it's telling your heart that you are not responsible for that pain, that you most likely could not have stopped it, could not have intervened, and that you're hurting yourself unnecessarily, because it's certainly not doing the other person any good for you to have survivor's guilt. It's not. In fact, it's almost taking away from their trauma. Let the light shine on them. Let them focus on their recovery and go back to being grateful that nothing worse happened to you. One thing you will never hear me say is it can never get worse. I used to say that throughout my childhood. I'd be in a bad situation and I'd say, well, at least it can't get any worse. And I'll be gosh darned, it got worse every time I said that. So you will never hear those words come from my mouth, because it can always get worse. And that ties right back in with boring is underrated. Boring is good.
Yes. And now looking back, won't you highlight a couple turning points that helped you transform because listening to what your story so far, from a very young age until you got out of the foster care system and even a little beyond, you were on straight up survival mode.
Yes.
And what are some points there that helped you transform to get out of that survival and turn it into healing?
Okay. So one event that truly changed the entire trajectory of my life, when I was in 11th grade, my junior year of high school, I won a congressional scholarship to do a 1-year foreign exchange to Germany. And I lived with a host family. I went to a higher level German high school, the high school that feeds it into university.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived with a host family, and they were amazing. I was 16. They treated me so, coming from TBFH and
Mm-hmm.
all the horrors that I endured in her home, to living with this host family who respected me, treated me as an adult, cared for me. They're the ones who showed me what a normal family looked like, and healthy communication and respect. And living with them that year, I blossomed. I emotionally and physically. I started jogging. I lost 30 pounds. I got contacts. I cut my hair short and dyed it platinum blonde. In fact, when I got off the airplane from my 1-year foreign exchange, so coming back to Houston, my family this was back in the day when your family could meet you at the gate in the airport. I walked right by my family. Not one of them recognized me.
Wow.
Yes. So my foreign exchange, and so I am going to the Frankfurt Book Fair. It's the largest book fair in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I am going to spend 3.5 days with my host family. I've stayed in touch with them over the years, not as much as I wanted to, but like I send my host mom flowers on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've kept in touch over the years, but I haven't seen them in 25 years. And I'm going back, and I am just so thrilled, because they were my example for what a healthy relationship, a healthy family, healthy dynamics, healthy communication. Now, bear in mind, it was all in German. So I started out with, "Hi, my name is," I could count and I could do the alphabet. By the end of the year, I was fluent. I'm very proud of that. But they were remarkable. They just changed my life. And I actually have had Unbroken translated into German. And
Wow.
And they I let my host mom read it, and she said it took her a few days, because when I lived with them in 11th grade, I didn't tell anyone my background. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
tell them about being homeless or living in the ghetto, or poverty to the point that, like, we couldn't afford toilet paper. We used washcloths. We did our laundry in the bathtub. We were just so poor. We used dish soap for shampoo and body wash and dishes, and we were just so poor. I didn't tell them any of that. It was like I got a blank start, and I got to be who I wanted to become. And I did over the course of that year. And that was one of the single greatest changing points in my life. The second was the birth of my daughter. I had her when I was 25. I call her my angel. I say that she was put in my life so that I would get my act together. In fact, I include my psychiatric evaluation at the end of Unbroken, and I include both evaluations in Unbroken, the case file. And the second evaluation, quote, Adrienne is terrified of having children because she's afraid she's going to do to them what was done to her. I was terrified of having, in fact, I didn't even think I could have a child. I had tried unsuccessfully for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have an attachment disorder. I don't bond with people the way others do because of all the abandonment and instability in my life. And my daughter was born August 7th, and I was just crying, and I told my husband. His parents came over. They were from England. His parents came over, and I told him to just take her, go with your parents, raise her. I can't do it. And on November 8th, I had started drinking again. On November 8th, I woke up hungover in the bathroom. I was on the floor mat, and November 8th is my sobriety date. And it's the date that I decided that I was going to be her mother, and I was going to give her the life that I did not get. And that was November, thank you. That was November 8th, 2005. So.
What a life.
It's been exciting. It's been a roller coaster.
But hey, you're killing it. You're killing it. Now, if every survivor watching tonight could remember only one message from your book, what would you like it to be?
It is that you are in charge of your life, your decisions, your future more than you realize. So a teenager who has parents or is in the system, they may not have immediate control over their life right now, but in a very short period of time, less than 2, 3, 4 years, you are going to be the one making the decisions. And it's up to you to decide. Are you going to use drugs? Are you going to use alcohol? Are you going to numb and medicate yourself? Are you going to repeat the cycle that was done to you that, your parents probably had done to them? Are you going to let this cycle continue, or are you going to stop it? You have power. Even if it's just with how you think and what you think, you are in charge of that. And your mentality, how you approach a situation is oftentimes the make or break.
Yeah, it is. How you approach it, how you handle it. Well, Adrienne, this hour has flown by. But we got a few more things here. First of all, I want to pop your website up there. It is unbrokencaldwell.com. Folks, you can get on there. You can order the book. You can read reviews on the book. And I didn't even get to the reader reviews. I was reading all of the editorial reviews on it. And I tell you what, it's from my perspective, it's probably going to be a hard read, but it's probably going to be one that I need to read. And folks, if you've been out there and you've had a troubled life and want to get on your way to healing, I suggest that you get this book and you read it. And also there is a link on there as well that if you would like to reach out to Adrienne and possibly ask her a question, or maybe you're thinking about writing your own book, I am sure she will answer you.
Absolutely.
And start a dialogue with you.
Absolutely. I love the questions that the audience sent in. I would love to engage with any of the readers. If anyone wants to contact me, I'm out there. Unbroken Caldwell. And yeah, I would welcome any questions, any comments.
All right, now I have one more question for you, but it's in three parts.
Okay.
So, what can the Misfit Nation do starting tomorrow? What three things can they do to make them better humans?
Three things to make the Misfit Nation better humans.
Make us better human beings.
Love yourself.
Okay.
I think that we are far too hard on ourselves. Think about the way that you would treat a friend or a colleague or even a family member versus how you treat yourself. And a lot of times people who've gone through hardship, they're hardest on themselves. Love yourself and be graceful with yourself. Give yourself grace. So love yourself. Be honest. Be honest with your loved ones. Be honest with yourself. Be real. You're not going to heal or recover until you're honest. And that's not easy to do. I lied to myself. I minimized my issues. I used any excuse possible to get out of the blame for my situation, for the decisions that I had made that put me in bad situations, bad positions. And so love yourself, be honest, and be kind. Be kind to one another. You don't know what's going on in another person's life. You're not in their shoes. So just be kind.
Okay. That is, yeah. Love yourself, be honest, and be kind.
Yes.
I like that. Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for sharing your story this evening. I I can't imagine the courage it takes to do that and to write a book about it. But kudos to you for that. And we just wish you a life of happiness.
Thank you. I live a truly blessed life. Like I said, I have RA. It's not perfect. My daughter is a handful. Um, but I am so grateful because I know how bad it can get. I really do.
Yes, yes, you do.
So,
Yes, yes, you
yeah,
do.
I want to thank your audience and you for having me. It's truly been a privilege to be here with you. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And on that note, Misfit Nation, if you're out there listening tonight and you're feeling the darkness, and if you don't think that you want to be here tomorrow, please do not make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Get on that phone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option one. There is somebody on the other end of that line that's going to help you, because tomorrow will not be as beautiful without you in it. If you don't want to do that, hit us up at the Misfit Nation, info at the Misfit Nation, Jake at the Misfit Nation, or Steven at the Misfit Nation, and we'll hit you back. We'll try to get you the help that you need. With that being said, Adrienne, thanks again. Misfit Nation. We'll catch you again on Sunday. Rich should be back by then. And keep hustling and stay humble. We love you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.